Factorising common factors. When you're working with factorising, your first job is to find a common factor. If there's a common factor, you've got to take it out and leave the rest of the stuff in a bracket before you can do anything else. Now what you do is you start with the numbers, and if you look at these two numbers, 4 and 28, 4, the smaller number, can divide into 28 without leaving any rest. So I make a circle around the 4, I cross 28 out and I say 4 goes into 28 7 times. And I write it down here at the bottom. I bring my minus down, and now I go to the variables. If there's one on each term, I could divide it into each other. But this x is standing alone in this expression. There is no x in this term. So what I do is I cross this x out and I also bring it to the bottom, put two brackets around it, and put my common factor in front. With this expression, you've got 12 and 18. Neither 12 can't go into 18. There'll be a left over. So what you do is you find your biggest number that can go into both. And it will be 6. Now I write 6 and I draw a little circle around it. Now 6 goes into 12 2 times. And it goes into 18 3 times. Now I move on to my variables. You go to the variable with the lowest exponent, So this x, the exponent is 1 and that one is 2. So you'll take this one as your common factor and you'll divide that x into here and there'll be 1x left. Your y is your common factor. It's in both terms. And it goes into this y and there's nothing left. Now you take your sign down and you've got your bracket done. Now you go and you write what you've put in front of your brackets. And what do I have in front of my bracket here? I've got 6, x, y. With this expression, look at your numbers first again. And you will see that your 7, your minus 7, is your common factor. It can go in both 28 and into 14. So let's do it. Minus 7 goes into himself once. Minus 7 goes into 28 minus 4 times. And minus 7 goes into 14 positive 2 times. Because it's minus 14 divided by minus 7. Now you look at the next number. I've got a here that is a common factor in each of these terms. So I can say a goes into himself once, but it goes into a square that there's a left, and it goes into this a square that there's a left. The next one I look at is the b. The b here will be my common factor. It cancels this b. Goes into it once, and here it goes into it once, and there's a b left. Now, I've done my signs, I've done my numbers. Now I've got to put this into brackets, and I've got on the outside then minus 7, a, and a b. If you decided you didn't want to bring out the minus 7, if you only wanted to bring out 7, you could have done it. Also with the a and the b again. So let's look. If I only brought the 7ab out, my first term that's left over will be a, just like there. But see now what I've done here. I've got a minus and a positive here. It gives me a minus 7. So where must my minus be if it's not going to be on the outside? It must be in the inside. The next one, the 2 minuses here gave me a positive. Now I haven't got a minus here. So I've got to put another positive here to keep the positive there. So positive times a positive gives me a positive. Remember, we always have to work to our original number. Here, positive times what will give me a negative? It will be a negative 2b. So it's exactly the same in the inside, but the signs change because the sign changed here. Have a look at this exercise and pause the video. Try it yourself before you look how I do it. Okay, the first one, number A. My common factor here will be 4. 4 goes into 12 3 times. X is not common to both the terms, so I just bring it down with a plus. So my common factor is 4 and it's x plus 3. To check my answer, 4 times x gives me 4x and 4 times 3 gives me 12. So I'm correct. Here the common factor is 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times. The x is not common to both terms, so I just write it to the bottom into my bracket and I put my common factor 3 in front. So if you check it, 3 times x gives me 3x and 3 times 3 gives me 9. The next one, number C, yes, 7 is my common factor. 7 goes into 7 once, and I have to write that 1 there. Even though it looks like it cancels each other out, you'll have to be able to multiply back to get to the same original answer. So if you have it like this, you can go say 7 times a gives me 7a, and 7 times 1 gives me 7. Number D. Here my common factor is 11, and it is p. Look how it's going to work. If I say it's 11, 11 goes into 22 twice. I bring my minus down. P goes into himself once and into p square once. There's 1p left. So I put my 11p outside. If I multiply back, 11p times p gives me 11p squared, and 11p times 2 gives me 22p. Number E, my common factor is 5, and it will also be x. The lowest exponent of x is on that side of the sum. So what have I got left? On this side, 5 times what is 10? That will be 2. With other words, 5 goes into 10 twice, and there is no x. That's a common factor. So y. So I can write my y down so long. X goes into x squared, that there's 1x left. So let's write my common factor in front, and that will give me 5x times x gives me 5x squared, and 5x times minus 2y gives me minus 10xy. The next one, 6, 2, and 3. There's no common factor for that numbers. So what we'll do is we will bring them down already. We'll say 6 there, and minus 2 there, and plus 3 there. Now, if I look at the x's, I can find that this one has a common factor in all the terms. To the first one, x goes into x squared, that there's 1x left, and x goes into x to the power 3, that there's x squared left. So I put my common factor in front, and that gives me x bracket 6x minus 2 plus 3x squared. And if you now go and check it, you'll find that this is, if you multiply it out, 6x squared, that will be 2x, and that will be 3x to the power 3. Number G. Here my common factor will be 3. I make a circle around my 3. And it won't be any a's, and it will be a b. So let's see what happens. I'll have left here a squared minus this one. There'll be only 2 left, And on this one, there'll be 4a cubed and no b left because the b is already on the outside. Number h. Here's no numbers, but y is my common factor. What will be first in my bracket? Y times 1 gives me y, plus y times y will give me y squared. And the last one, y times y squared gives me y to the power 3. This one, my common factor is only 4. 4 times x squared will give me 4x squared. 4 times what will give me 8x? It will be 4 times 2x. And the next one, 4 times what will give me 4? 4 times 1. Yeah, there are again two possibilities. Minus 3, a can be my common factor. Then here at the first one, if I say minus 3a times what will give me minus 3a cubed, it will be a squared. And minus 3a times what will give me minus 24, it will be positive 8. You could also have only taken out the positive 3a, then this will become minus a squared and minus 8. Because look here, if you multiply this with that, it will give you minus a cubed. And if you multiply 3a with minus 8, it will give you minus 24a. K will be minus 4y. And that will give you y here, and positive 3 there. Or it will be 4y with a negative y and a negative 3. If you look at them, minus 4y times y gives me minus 4y squared. Minus 4y plus 3 gives me negative 12y. And it works the same at the bottom. The next one will be a squared. And I've got here b left over plus what times a squared give me a squared? 1. This one, it will be the common factor here will be 3x to the power 3. Now 3 goes into 12 4 times, and there will be x to the power 3 left. Minus 3 goes into 15 5 times, and there's x to the power 2 left. And 3 goes into 7 9 times, and there will be no x's. Look, let's check. 3 times 4 is 12. X to the power 3 and x to the power 3 gives me x to the power 6. Remember, if your base numbers are the same, you just add your exponents. 3 times minus 5 is minus 15, and that will give me minus 5x. And 3 times 9, or 3x times 9, will give me 27x cubed. Now, the last one, here my common factor will be 3a squared b. Now, 3 goes into 9 3 times. There will be a squared left. Minus 3 goes into 9 3 again. And there will be a left. Now b. Plus 3a squared b goes into 3a squared b once. Before attempting the next one, make sure your previous answers were all correct and that you understood what you did. Then you continue with this one. Here I'm not going to explain step for step what I've done. If you have a problem that you can't get to the same answer as me, please let me know on WhatsApp and I'll try and explain to you. Pause the video here and do this work yourself before checking the answers.